Welcome aboard Just Jets with your captain, Matt O'Leary. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, back with episode number 36 of Just Jets. Hope you enjoy the ride. It's Jets Therapy. We are rebranding as New York Jets Therapy because that's what it feels like. I get on the microphone, I talk for like 5-10 minutes in the beginning, and then I hear from you guys, and we got to get it all out. It's important to get it all out. But we got a lot to get to today. Before we get started, wanted to talk to you about Manscaped. I got the Weed Whacker right here. The thing is tremendous. You can put it in your nose, shave your nose hairs, right in the ear, clean that up as well. You got to have it clean, guys. Like we talked about the Lawnmower 3.0. That's for taking care of your package. We understand that. Listen, if you want to go on a date and you want to look good, you got to clean up the nose hair, the ear hair, and I'm going to give you a 20% discount, Jets20. So promo code Jets20 gets you 20% off and free shipping. So if you're interested in checking out any of their products, the Lawnmower 3.0 or the Weed Whacker, go to the website, manscaped.com, use my promo code Jets20 and get yourself 20% off and get yourself something nice. So now we got the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Let's jump into this episode. Big storyline from this week, Steve McLendon traded. They send McLendon and a 2023, that sounds like a million years from now, by the way, a 2023 7th-round pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a 2022 6th-round pick. So nothing impacting the 2021 draft. We're talking 2022, 2023. And McLendon, he was solid. Like, he was a solid Jet on the team since 2016. On some really bad teams, but he was a good leader. He was a good veteran, and his presence is going to be missed. They have other guys who can fill that role. Quinnen Williams should hopefully be on the field a lot more. John Franklin Myers has been really, really good. You have Folu Fatukasi who can play on the interior. Like, interior defensive line is not an issue for this New York Jets team. They have a ton of guys who can plug that hole. So while McLendon is absolutely a guy that you want to have on your team, and he's going to former coach Todd Bowles down in Tampa Bay, and I expect him to do well there, but he's a guy you can absolutely move. On the last year of his deal, is not a building block guy. You're not going to bring him back next year. He's a good player, but he's not someone at his age that you're probably going to look to bring back on a rebuilding team like the Jets are. So moving on from him, it's just going to be the first of many moves. Marcus May could get moved. You could re-sign him or you could move him. Same with Jamison Crowder. You got a ton of other guys that you can go down the line and potentially move. It's tough. Avery Williamson, supposedly there's interest from the Pittsburgh Steelers because they lost their linebacker Bush. So it's tough right now when you're in a position where you're 0-6, the worst team in football. You hold the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. You're going to be selling off as many pieces as physically possible, and you're not going to get a great return. Like, you're getting a 2022 6th-round pick. That sounds like years and years from now. It's 2 years from now that you're getting a 6th-round pick for McLendon. If you're moving Crowder, maybe you're getting a 3rd or 4th for Jamison Crowder. That would be my guess. Avery Williamson, I think you're probably getting like a 4th-round pick for Avery Williamson. Who else could you potentially move? Marcus May, maybe you're getting a 3rd for Marcus May. I think I would probably at that point want to re-sign May. The big one I miss, Brian Poole. He's definitely going to get moved. I think he's their slot corner. He's playing really good football right now on a bad team, so it doesn't matter. But you could potentially get something there. Maybe get a 3rd-rounder for him. And you just continue to stockpile picks. That way you could either move up or trade those mid-round picks for already established NFL players. Like we see all the time. You trade wide receivers for a 3rd or 4th-round pick. And if you have so many picks, like you don't have to, let's say they go into the draft or like after all these trades, they have, let's say 14 picks in this year's draft. You don't have to go in and select 14 guys. You can move around, and you could also, package a pick or two and get a couple of players in here. That's what gaining assets is all about. So I'm just curious to see over the next couple of weeks before the trade deadline comes on November 3rd. Important day. It's trade deadline day and election day, so a lot going on. Got a lot going on over here. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. As for what we saw on the field, it was bad. Jets shut out 24-0. Joe Flacco did not look good. First drive, missed Perriman twice deep. One was overthrown, a little bit bad adjustment, I guess, from Perriman. And then just the other one was underthrown. For most of this game, Flacco was averaging 3 yards per attempt. Hopefully we don't have to watch Joe Flacco again this week. Like, if we're going to lose, can we at least get to watch Sam Darnold? Like, that could be intriguing. So maybe we get Sam Darnold back. If I had to bet, I'm saying we're probably going to get Joe Flacco. The effort just was not good. Defensively, they didn't do anything in the first half. Second half, we're a little bit better defensively, but just all game long, it was all on nothing moving the ball offensively. They tried to take deep shots, but Flacco was way inaccurate trying to throw deep down the field, and it wasn't helping. They probably were loading the box, but I don't think Gore was all that great. Michael P. Ryan was not that good. Ty Johnson, where the hell did he come from? He popped off the 2 biggest plays on offense. Didn't even know he was on the team before last past week. This is the current state of the New York Jets roster and the sideline drama. So before the game, CBS showed Greg Williams and Adam Gase getting into it. And it's a little bit funny because earlier in the week, someone asked, I forget which reporter it was, they asked Greg Williams about his defense giving up 32 points a game, which is just preposterous. And he basically said it's not all the defense's fault, which is true. But obviously Gase did not like that. And he was very adamant about not liking the comments. Go figure. They are barking on the sideline before the game. Fantastic. And then you get blown out 24-0, which is just so perfect. So that, to put a bow on last week, we did the 8-minute recap on Sunday. But just Flacco, bad. Effort, bad. Defense, bad. Sideline drama, also bad. That's why you're 0-6. As for Jets-Bills, I just wrote in my notes, LOL. Right now the spread, I believe I got it at 13 or 13.5. Yeah, Bills minus 13.5 or 13, wherever it's at. Take it. The Jets are not going to be within 2 touchdowns. Buffalo is coming off a loss against Kansas City, so they're going to be a hungry team. I know that they are coming on the road to play at MetLife. There's no home field advantage in 2020 because there's no fans in the stands. And if there were fans in the stands, they'd probably be against the Jets anyway. So I don't expect this game to be very close at all. I don't. Whether it's Flacco or Darnold, because Darnold didn't look that great week 1 against them, I'm going to say 34-10. Something like that. This has blowout written all over it. The Bills are, again, a hungry team. They could use a get-right game, and the Jets are playing for absolutely nothing right now. So it's not a lot of fun. I know, but we got to talk about it. So I don't expect it to go very well. Let's get into the voicemails now. This is the fun part. We get to get all our frustrations out. Let me hear from you. First one, we're going to go to Max, and he's going to talk about Trevor Lawrence.
Holden, New Jersey. I don't think the Jets should draft. I have a question for you. Do you think the Jets should draft Trevor Lawrence this year? I do not think that the Jets should draft Trevor Lawrence this year. Next year in the draft. I do not know why the fans want the Jets to take Trevor Lawrence. I understand he's a good prospect, but one player does not save a team from go. If Trevor Lawrence is playing today, he would have done poorly. Our offense is terrible. Next year's draft, if we get the first overall pick, I want the Jets to trade out of the first overall pick, get 3 first-round picks, get the offensive lineman, P.N.I. Sewell from Oregon, get Jalen Waddle, and then Devonta Smith. I feel this will help the Jets in the long run. They actually build around Sam Darnold, not take Trevor Lawrence just because he's a great prospect. I understand that some Jets fans want Trevor Lawrence. He's a great prospect. He threw 5 touchdowns in the first quarter against a not so good college team. But that's
Georgia Tech.
The ACC is just a weak division. Trevor Lawrence will fail if he gets drafted by the Jets.
I don't know if I agree with that.
And follow me on YouTube. If it's Max's NY Jets, that's my YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to have more in-depth in this topic about why the Jets should not take Trevor Lawrence. Bye.
Okay. Lots to unpack. I think if they have the first overall pick, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. I don't think there's a scenario in which that they don't. If they are picking second, third, fourth, then you could tell me that they'd rather keep Sam Darnold than take Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I could buy into that. I just don't think they're going to pass on Trevor. And a reason why, and I don't think Sam's the biggest issue here. I really don't think this is on Darnold. To me, it's about who you're bringing in for the head coach. If your head coach, your number one head coaching candidate says, yeah, I want to come, I want to get that number one pick, it's going to be me and Trevor Lawrence, then okay, get after it. You use that number one pick as a recruiting tool. You use Trevor Lawrence as a recruiting tool because right now, there's not really a whole lot going for this franchise. You have bad ownership. You have an awful roster. And if you're picking third, fourth, then what? What does that really do for you? So I understand, and I'm not anti-Sam Darnold. I like Darnold. I'm rooting for him. If he plays well down the stretch, they win 3 games and are picking third, so be it. You probably roll with Sam Darnold at that point. But if you have the number 1 overall pick, you got to take the guy. I think you have to take Trevor Lawrence. And you trade Darnold for a second. You let him go somewhere else, and he'll have success elsewhere. You have to realize this is how it's going to happen. And I don't think it's fair to say that Trevor Lawrence is going to struggle here. Each prospect is completely unique. Each scenario is completely unique. And if Gase isn't here and you have Arthur Smith, Eric Bieniemy, Brian Dable, Greg Roman, pick a name out of a hat and who's going to be out of the coaching tree in 2020 or 2021 season, then I think Trevor Lawrence has a lot better chance of success. So I can't say that I agree with you, Max. Next up is Steve with some reaction.
Hey, Matt, this is Theo from New Jersey. Calling in a couple hours after another embarrassing Jets loss. I don't know how many more of these we're going to have until Adam Gase hits the streets. I mean, God,
be a while.
That's beside the point. This team is a dumpster fire, but there are some few pieces of talent on here that do have some value. Guys like Jamison Crowder, Brian Poole, Marcus May, Avery Williamson, just to name a few. So I'm thinking we just completely clean house at the deadline, and I'm wondering what kind of value we can get for some of these guys, including Sam Darnold too, because we're going to go 0-16, and I don't know how we could pass on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, yeah. So thanks for taking my call, and go Jets, I guess.
Thanks for checking in, Steve. So I think for Poole, I'm probably going to say a third, Avery a fourth, May a third, Crowder a third or a fourth. Darnold, I think you're trading in the offseason and you're getting a second for him. The reason why I don't trade him during the season is if for whatever reason you trade Darnold, let's say you trade him to Dallas, you get a second-round pick now, great. But for some odd reason, the Jets find a way that they're picking second or third. Now you don't have Trevor Lawrence and you don't have Sam Darnold, so you're screwing yourself a little bit. So I don't trade Darnold during the season. If you have the number 1 overall pick and you decide to take Trevor Lawrence, which I think would be the likely scenario, then you trade him at that point, which is tough. It's not going to be an easy thing. Next up is Tom wants to talk a little bit about the Greg and Gase tension.
Hey, Matt. This is John from Miami. I just finished watching the game, and I have a couple questions. Well,
it's tough.
Two, really. First off, what do you think about the tension between Greg Williams and Adam Gase? I was watching the game. Of course, we have to wear masks, so we can't really read lips, but, it looked like there was some tension with that, and
definitely
to blame. And if Greg Williams had a point coming at the offense, kind of, if you were shade up the offense, the offense does give really poor field position, and the defense tries to do what they can. And my next one is, you saw Steve McLendon get traded to the Buccaneers, basically like right after the game. I guess Joe Douglas was on the phone or whatnot while the game was going on. He's like, I got to get some of these guys out of here to make the season better for them. Since he left and he's a really good locker room presence, what do you think are the next dominoes that are going to fall? Which players are going to get traded? And, keep up the good work, and you have a great channel and great content. Go Jets, baby.
Thank you so much for checking in. Really appreciate it. So, there are definitely some tension between Greg and Gase. Not too surprising. Both are personalities, to say the least. Greg had a point. I don't necessarily like him saying that, though. It's tough. That's who he is, though. Like that's how he is. He's not the most likable in that aspect. His personality is tough. Is he the greatest guy? No. Is he the greatest coach? I'd say he's average. I think he's okay. I think last year was a little bit of an outlier. I don't think they're as bad as that they're currently playing on defense. He also doesn't have a ton of bodies in here. They're just frustrated. They want this thing to be over too. And as for the second part of the question, as for some other players I mentioned some other players who could be moved. I'll say the guys who I think are going to be moved. I think they'll hold on to May, and I think they'll hold on to Crowder. I think they are moving Avery Williamson. I think they are moving Brian Poole, and I'm going to say those are the two that get moved and everyone else stays. I think Marcus May is going to stay and sign a deal here. That's just my prediction. That could be wrong, just tossing names out there, but I'm going to predict that Avery Williamson and Brian Poole are gone, and they get a third-round pick for Poole and a fourth-round pick for Avery Williamson. So thank you so much for checking in, Tom. We're going to move this thing along. We're going to get to Aaron in Illinois with some reaction.
All right, man. All right.
I feel that.
Hello there, Matt. This is Aaron from Illinois. So, oh boy, Jets game today, man. I didn't even watch the game, so it's not like I missed anything. And yesterday was my birthday, and I was really hoping they would win my birthday. I was hoping they'll at least, show some fight, at least show some fight. But then again, I'm not that surprised because as soon as you cut Le'Veon Bell, the whole locker room was like, you know what? If you're gonna cut one of our favorite guys in the team, why play for you?
Yep, that's true.
At this point, man, with the Jets, man, we're 0-6. We're the only winless team left. You see the Falcons win today. As soon as they fire, their head coach, they actually look better. They're actually finishing games. The Giants won their first game, and then there's the Jets.
Yep.
I don't really have too much to say though. I'm honestly at this point with the Jets. I'm honestly, this sounds bad, but I'm honestly used to it. I'm not even getting mad no more than I used to get. Like,
I feel it. I feel that, dude.
If we get blown out, I'm like, whatever. I don't know, man. This is bad. I never felt like this before. I just want to just be competitive, man, because this is getting really bad. And at this point, man, I'm a big Sam Darnold guy, and at this point, man, I really think we should just trade Sam Darnold. I know that might sound crazy, though, but honestly, though, Sam Darnold's getting ruined. Like, you can tell by his press conference when people ask him questions about Gase and how the team did. He does not look confident. He
doesn't.
Very disappointed. He has no confidence left. Like he just looks just shell shocked, man. He needs to get the heck out of there as fast as possible. We gotta trade him. If I'm the GM, I would just trade him to I would purposely trade him to a good team, man, because he deserves better. And if I'm Trevor Lawrence right now, stay in school. Don't come to the Jets.
Oh, that's not fair. No.
The Jets playing right now. Don't come to the Jets. Just stay in Clemson. Go on a vacation. Hang out with your buddies. Have fun. Have fun playing your last year. Get educated on your degree. Just do what you got to do, man. Whatever you do, don't go to the Jets because they'll ruin you, man. They'll ruin you just like how they did with Sam Darnold, man. Just like how they did with Mark Sanchez.
Oh, you got cut off at the end a little bit there, but the point was well made. I don't think he's going to stay in school. I don't think it makes sense. I've seen that come up. Roddy White supposedly said, hey, stay in school. Well, I mean, what are the Washington football team, is that a better option? Is the Jacksonville Jaguars a better option? Is Detroit a better option? Is the Clevelands of the world a better option? Like, these teams who pick number one overall, they're not good for a reason. Cincinnati last year, like, the bad teams pick first. That's how this works. So, yeah, if he's going to be selected first overall, you're going to go to a bad team. But with a new coach, a relatively new general manager, a young quarterback, could turn it around and get it going in the right direction. You have a ton of cap space, something that a lot of teams are not going to have next year. I don't like that last little narrative there, but I understand the frustration, and a happy belated birthday to you, Aaron, in Illinois. Thank you for checking in, Aaron. We're going to move this thing along. We're going to get to Phil in Brooklyn, has some reaction as well.
Hey, Matt, it's Phil from Brooklyn, New York. Sorry, I got cut off last time. But I didn't watch the game, right? I didn't watch the game. I have been watching the games for 8 to 5 years. 8 to 5 years, sorry. I haven't watched the 5 years. So this is my first time not watching the game due to Adam Gase's horrible play calling.
Fair.
And it just baffles me that this guy has a job. The fact that I just read a actual stat about this. He has 30 wins as a head coach. 30. He has 31 losses, double digits. The fact that he's actually a head coach in the National Football League,
I know,
baffles me. 31 double-digit losses. Matt, I hate to say it. I think Trevor is our best chance now. I used to be a Sam man. I used to be a Sam believer. I still think he is. I think he's going to. I think it's best for both. I think it's best for both parties. I think Sam is going to succeed somewhere else, possibly Indianapolis, where I would most likely want him to go, or the Saints. I think Trevor's our best spot right now, and I think this is going to be a shock. But I could definitely see the Jets getting Doug Peterson as our head coach due to the fact that he worked with Joe Douglas. So, in the game, nothing new. Horrible offense.
That's on the back burner. Don't worry.
Too bad when I watched the highlights. Marcus May had a really good pick. I know that. I really thought they should have put James Morgan in at the end. I thought that would have been a good idea. Maybe see what he had. But, of course. And the runs with Frank Gore. I mean, oh my God.
I know.
That guy had a good run. 2 back-to-back runs, I think. I don't know his name.
Ty Johnson.
But, once he had those back-to-back good runs, Adam Gase had to pull away. So just a boring game. It looked from the highlights. Nothing fun. I know Tua got a start. I'm happy about that. I really like him. Other than that, needs to go. And it looked like Adam and Greg Williams were fighting before the game even started, which is, not even surprising at this point.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
Yeah, let me know what you think, and go Jets.
It's so deflating, isn't it, Phil? I can't believe you're not watching the game. That's the point we're at right now. Jets fans are to the point where they would rather not watch the game and suffer through it. I think Morgan, putting him in the game would have been funny because I don't think he's ready. I really don't. He's a developmental pick. As for trading Sam, I think he's going to be good elsewhere if they do move on from him. I still am a Sam believer. Doug Peterson's pretty far down on the list of names I would like for the New York Jets to bring in as head coach. He's not awful, and it's not all his fault what's going on in Philly. And I like that he's a little bit forward-thinking and will take a little bit more risks, but he's outside of my top 5. I'll say that for sure. So thank you, Phil, for checking in. All right, let's go to Anthony and talk about firing the staff.
Hey, Matt, it's Anthony from New Jersey again. Unfortunately, it's come to a point when number 1 pick seems pretty likely. Do you think after this terrible loss that the Jets should fire Greg Williams, the offensive coordinator, Loggins, I think his name is, and Gase? Give me your take. Thanks, and the show's great. Keep it up. Go Jets.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words and for checking in. Yes, I think the staff should go. I don't think they will. I think they will play through the season or be here through the season. At least Gase and Dowell will. Greg might get fired because of his comments. I'm not necessarily saying that's the right call, that he is leaving before Gase, but I think I I would say that's more likely. Greg Williams is more likely to get fired in season than Adam Gase and Dowell Loggins, which is baffling. Travis from Ohio has a few words, wants to talk about trading some pieces away and a whole lot more.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, buddy.
Travis from Ohio. Hey, buddy. Pretty sure at this point you got to go scorched earth.
I'm with you.
Not talking about for the season, but just get what you can for anybody on the roster that's not on their rookie contract from this year's draft class, or C.J. Mosley, because nobody's going to pick up that contract, and we're pretty much going to have to eat that one.
Agree.
And that's worked out really well for us so far, so what the heck. Maybe Boyer, and of course Joe Douglas. Get rid of anything and everybody else as long as you can get something for them. Even players I like. Quentin Williams, Marcus May, who had that awesome butt pick interception.
That was really cool, by the way.
I mean, it was good to see the Jets actually have a highlight and be remembered for something that wasn't the butt fumble or the butt fumble too from Gino. Anyway, no, scorch earth, get rid of everybody except those guys, I guess. Just get assets. And who do you think we can get in here to coach the wreck that'll be left over with next year?
Ooh.
Atlanta's going to be open, we know for sure, and a couple other teams, and those all might be better destinations than we got. So Texans is going to be a better destination. So we might have to go outside the box. I want an offensive mind, definitely, and somebody that Peyton Manning doesn't recommend.
You're not wrong, though.
Johnson's don't hire.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Anyway, love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Just wanted to see who you think we're going to actually end up with realistically, because there's probably better destinations out there. Maybe the number 1 overall pick and Trevor Lawrence entices somebody, but
I think so.
You know I love you. Have a great week. And F. Jamal Adams, F. Adam Gase, everything I'm going to step out now. But it's 2020, so whatever. Love you. Have a great week.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for checking in. Let's do that. Let's talk about some coaches. So I would say that the vacancies that are most likely to open up, we know Houston's going to be available. We know Atlanta's going to be available. The Jets are going to be available. Jacksonville's going to be available. Detroit's probably going to be available. I would say those are the 5 most likely. Everyone else is probably pretty safe. So if I had to pick where the Jets are, I would say that they are probably going to be 3. I think that Houston is extremely enticing, and I think the Atlanta Falcons are extremely enticing, and the Jets could be too with the number 1 overall pick. But I'm going to say, way too early prediction, Eric Bieniemy is going to go to Houston to work with Deshaun Watson. Atlanta, I don't know the route Atlanta's going to go. I'm not really too sure where. I don't have a prediction for them just yet. Where I want the Jets to go, Arthur Smith, Brian Dable, Greg Roman, excuse me, Matt Campbell, Joe Brady. I know Joe Brady's young, but someone's going to make him a head coach very soon, and they're going to be a smart team. There's a lot of enticing guys on here. Arthur Smith, I like a lot. I really like Arthur Smith a lot. So that's a name to keep a close eye on. I think he's done a tremendous job in Tennessee. So thank you, Travis. Let's go to Jeff in Cali. Wants to talk about Gase and tanking.
Hey, Matt, this is Jeff from Cali again. Calling after the Week 6 brutal blowout to the Miami Dolphins.
It was tough. It was a tough watch.
It looked like that last time I called, I had the theory that Adam Gase was only staying on this team because Christopher Johnson wants Trevor Lawrence. And it seems like my theory is, well, at least in my eyes, is coming true. I'm just here for some Jets therapy. Here's a little scenario that I've kind of been daydreaming about. So, a nightmare scenario for the New York Jets. If Trevor Lawrence decides that he does not want to be a New York Jet, whether that means he's staying in college for another year or he's just going to straight up pull an Eli Manning and say, I'm not playing for you. This would mean what head coach would want to take this job if there's no appeal of Trevor Lawrence coming in? I think the appeal of Sam Darnold is starting to wear with his, well, less than adequate seasons in the past. And obviously you have the draft picks, but how many draft picks can you really, how is that really going to bring a top-tier head coach in when they're literally just lottery tickets at the end of the day? There's no players here. I mean, what are you going to point to? Quinnen Williams, the walking freaking personal foul. I don't know, man. I guess my question is, how does Joe Douglas salvage this franchise if Trevor Lawrence doesn't become a New York Jet? Thanks. Bye.
Okay. I'm going to answer that question. First, I wanted to say I don't agree that he's not going to want to come to the Jets. I know that's been a hot button topic on Twitter. I don't buy it. The teams we're picking at the top of the draft are bad for a reason. Like, where's he going to go? I don't want to go to the Jets, but I'll go to Washington or Jacksonville. Like, come on, both those teams are pretty garbage too. So, okay, we're going to operate on the assumption that Trevor Lawrence isn't an option. Then you could do one of two things. You could draft Trey Lance, who I think is pretty good. Not as high on Justin Fields, but I could understand that. Or you go with Sam and you build around him. Build up the offensive line. Draft multiple wide receivers. Spend in free agency at the wide receiver position. You really need to attack these main positions: offensive line, wide receiver, edge, corner. Those are your most important positions in football. The most important positions are those. And the Jets are bad at almost every single one. Darnold can get better under the right coaching staff and with some weapons around him. I just think if Trevor Lawrence is an option for them, they would take him. And I can't necessarily say that I blame them for that. But we'll see what they we'll see what they do. We'll see what happens. But I completely understand the concern about Joe Douglas being able to build this roster. There's a lot of work to do, but you need to focus on the main important positions in the sport because the Jets lack talent at those positions, which is really tough. Next up, we got Jeff in Jersey wants to talk head coaches.
Hey, Matt, it's Jeffrey from New Jersey, and I'm calling on a Tuesday. I've had some time to wind down from that abysmal Jets game on Sunday, which was a disgrace to all of the Jets fans watching. It was just terrible, and it doesn't get much worse than this. And unfortunately, we got 10 more games of this crap. So anyway, I'm just wondering. So I'm not a huge fan of bringing in coordinators for head coaching jobs. I like real head coaches that can really manage the game. So I'm just wondering, who would you feel would be a good real head coach? Not a guy calling plays, but a real head coach who will really manage the game. And who would you hire as the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator going forward, eventually when you have the new head coach. So thanks for your show, and keep it up. And, of course, go Jets. Okay.
So let's say you want to go a different direction and not go with a coordinator. I would see, he might be my number one guy now, Arthur Smith. So he is the offensive coordinator for Tennessee, but he has experience coaching on both sides of the ball. He was the defensive quality control coach with Tennessee, the offensive quality control coach. So can I cop out and say Arthur Smith? Because I really think he would be good. I would then look to for offensive coordinator. I think you go a couple different directions. Maybe you go with Todd Monken, get him back in the NFL. I believe he's with Georgia now. He's had success at Tampa Bay, and then now he's at the college rank and having a good time over there. As for a defensive coordinator, I guess it all depends on how it shakes loose. I don't know. There's not really a specific guy that's jumping out to me right now, or someone who could potentially be let go. It's maybe you go with, oh my God, who the Falcons just fired, Dan Quinn. Maybe go Quinn, because he has head coaching experience, and he ran a really good defense in Seattle, so maybe that's the play. That's my choice. Arthur Smith, head coach, offensive coordinator Todd Monken, Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, with Trevor Lawrence. Let's get after it. Last one's coming from Ben from New Jersey, wants to talk about some Trevor Lawrence.
Hi, Matt. My name is Ben from New Jersey. I'm just calling to express my newfound support for the Jets getting the number one pick and drafting Trevor Lawrence. As much as I love Sam Darnold, I don't think he's the one to save this team. I feel like we've ruined him with Adam Gase. I think it's best to let him succeed somewhere else. I wish for all the best for him, but if we get the number one pick and draft Trevor Lawrence, our team will be in a better position for the future with our cap space. And drafting him might also help us get a nice coach like a Matt Campbell or someone like that. And it also might help us attract some free agents to make New York a more glamorous destination, because it's not right now. Thank you. Love the show.
I heard no lies from Ben. Everything he said was 100% spot on. I'm still a Darnold believer. I still think he could be good. And like I said, if the Jets win some games, then okay, Sam Darnold's your quarterback going forward. If you're not picking first overall. But if the choice is Trevor Lawrence or Sam Darnold, they're probably going with Trevor Lawrence. And if they're forcing Sam Darnold onto whoever the new coach is going to be, you're probably not getting your first choice as head coach, which is sketchy because that's kind of what they've done in the past. It's not an easy situation, but I'm with you on that. I like Matt Campbell as well. I think he's an intriguing choice, so maybe they bring him along. That'd be really cool. But that's going to do it for this episode number 36 of Just Jets. Thank you so much for sticking with me. It's an absolute blast doing this each and every week. I like to get it off my chest, my thoughts out there. It's like my therapy session, and hearing from you guys makes it all worthwhile. So thank you for checking in. Please subscribe to wherever you listen to the show. Thank you for all your support, and I'll talk to you next time.